What if I told you that a single mechanical object small enough to wear on your wrist not only touched the face of the moon, but also saved the lives of astronauts in dire peril? An object that has measured the difference between Olympic gold and bitter defeat for nearly a century, and has been the trusted companion of the world's most famous secret agent. This isn't science fiction, this is the story of Omega. But how did one watch brand born in a small Swiss workshop achieve such legendary status? How did Omega become the gold standard for precision under pressure, from the vacuum of space to the silver screen? Today, we are decoding the story of Omega. Our story began not with astronauts of space, but with a young visionary. In 1848, in the quiet Swiss village of La Chaux-de-Fonds, a 23-year-old named Louis Bratt opened a modern workshop. His ambition was singular, yet profound, to craft the most precise timepieces possible. This dedication to accuracy wasn't just a business strategy. It was a passion that would become the very DNA of the Omega. Bratt's reputation for quality quickly spread. After his death, his sons Louis Paul and Caesar inherited not just a business, but a burning ambition. They moved the company, then Louis Bratt and Fritz, to the larger town of Bourbon in 1880, a city that remains Omega's home to this day. They were poised for a breakthrough, and that breakthrough arrived in 1894. It was a watch movement, the 19 linear calibre, and it was revolutionary. Imagine this: for the first time, a mass-produced movement offered exceptional accuracy and featured fully interchangeable parts. This meant any watchmaker, anywhere in the world, could service it. It was an industry marvel, a masterpiece of engineering with a winding and setting mechanism so advanced. Its principles are still used today. The Bratt brothers knew that they had achieved something special. They named this calibre Omega, the last letter of the Greek alphabet, symbolizing the ultimate in accomplishment. It was so successful that in 1903, the entire company was renamed the Omega Watch Company. By then, they were already the largest manufacturer of finished watches in Switzerland. Look, you must know that Omega wasn't just making watches, they were setting the standards. They produced the world's first mini repeating wristwatch in 1892. They won the grand prize at the Paris Universal Exposition in the 1900s, and they consistently triumphed in the grueling observatory trials, the ultimate test of the timekeeping precision, even setting 6 precision records in all categories at the Geneva Observatory Trials in the 1931. This relentless pursuit of precision wasn't just for show. It was building a foundation of trust, a reputation for reliability that would soon be tested in the most extreme environmental imaginable.
Ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The 1960s. The space race is on. President Kennedy has declared America will land a man on the moon. As missions grew longer and more complex, NASA astronauts realized that they needed a backup, a reliable wristwatch in case their onboard digital timers failed. This wasn't about style, it was about the survival. In 1964, NASA's Director of Flight Crew Operations, Decoded, put on a call. They needed high-quality chronographs. Only 4 watch companies responded. One was the Omega. What followed was a series of tests so brutal. They were designed for vehicle-mounted hardware, no delicate wristwatches. Engineer James Reagan oversaw the trials. The watches faced 11 hellish tests. high temperatures of 93 degrees Celsius, then freezing it at the -18. Extreme pressure changes, violent shocks of 40 Gs, crushing acceleration, deafening noise, and relentless vibrations. One by one, the competitors failed. Crystal poured off, hands red and jammed. But only one watch survived, the Omega Speedmaster, referenced at the ST-105.003. And here is the truly astonishing part. The first moment, this wasn't some specially designed space-age prototype. It was the standard, off-the-shelf Speedmaster, the same one anyone could buy in a store. Omega had, without knowing it, already built a watch tough enough for the space. But the test wasn't over. James Reagan represents the surviving Speedmaster and other candidates to the astronauts themselves. Without revealing the test result, unanimously, they chose the Omega, citing its accuracy, reliability, readability, and ease of use, even with gloved hands. On March 1st, 1965, NASA declared the Omega Speedmaster flight qualified for all-manner space mission. Just 3 weeks later, it officially flew on Gemini 3, at wide world history during the first American spacewalk. And on July 20, 1969, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the moon, an Omega Speedmaster was there, strapped to Aldrin's wrist, the first watch wore on the moon. The moon watch was born, but it is more critical test. Its defining moment of heroism was yet to come. This is where the story takes a truly dramatic turn. April 1970, Apollo 13. Houston, we have a problem. These chilling words signal a near-fatal disaster. An oxygen tank exploded, crippling the service module. Astronauts James Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Haise were stranded, hundreds of thousands of miles from the Earth, in a dying spacecraft. Their lunar module, Aquarius, became a lifeboat. But to conserve its precious little power, they had to shut down almost everything, including the onboard digital timers. They were off course. To get home, they needed to perform a precise manual engine burn to correct their trajectory. The timing had to be perfect. Too short, and they bounced off Earth's atmosphere back into the world. Too long, and they burned out on re-entry. The required burn, just 40 seconds. With no digital timers, command module pilot Jack Swigert turned to the one piece of equipment he knew he could trust on: his NASA-issued Omega Speedmaster chronograph. As Commander Lovell later recounted, we used the Omega watch that Jack had on his wrist. Jack timed the burn on the engine to make that correction to get us back home safely. Those 40 seconds timed with unwavering accuracy by the Omega Speedmaster saved the Apollo 13. It was the ultimate moment. A mechanical watch, a relic of old-world craftsmanship, becoming a lifeline in the heart of the space age. NASA engineer James Reagan's foresight in demanding a reliable mechanical backup was tragically, heroically vindicated. The Speedmaster wasn't just the first watch on the moon. It was the watch that helped bring astronauts back from the brink. Its legend was sealed. Omega's pursuit of precision wasn't confined to space. Since 1932, Omega has been the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games, a partnership approaching a century. From introducing the first photoelectric cells, the magic eyes in the 1948, capable of timing to 1/100 of a second, to today's quantum timers measuring to the millionth of a second, Omega has constantly innovated, ensuring fairness and accuracy in the world of sport. Touchpads in swimming, 4-star detectors, real-time TV graphics, all Omega innovations that change how we experience the games. And then there is Bond, James Bond. When mentioned about the Omega, you must always remember the 007 agent. In 1995's GoldenEye, 007 straight on an Omega Seamaster. Costume designer Lindy Hemmingfield, it was the authentic choice for a navalman, a diver and a discreet gentleman of the world. From Pierce Brosnan's Seamaster with its laser and detonator, to Daniel Craig's large planet ocean and sophisticated aquaterrors, Omega has been Bond's trusted companion, bringing style with life-saving and occasionally world-saving functionality. Underlying all these iconic moments is Omega's relentless spirit of innovation. Facing these quartz crises that threaten mechanical watchmaking, Omega embraced Dr. George Daniels' revolutionary coaxial escapement in 1999. This marvel of engineering significantly reduced friction, offering greater accuracy and longer service intervals. Then came the Master Chronometer certification, a collaboration with METAS, setting new standards for precision, performance, and incredible resistance to magnetism out to 15,000 Gauss. From Louis Brass's workshop to the moon, from Olympic finish lines to the wrist of 007, Omega's journey is a testament to precision, resilience, and a pioneering spirit. It is a brand that doesn't just tell time. It defines moment in history. It has consistently answered the question of how to achieve the ultimate in performance, whether in the depths of the space or the height of human endeavor. So, what do you think is Omega's most defining achievement? Was it conquering the space? Is Olympic legacy or becoming Bond's choice? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want to know the other brand's story, please also comment below. Let me know. Maybe we can decode it together. If you enjoyed decoding the story of Omega with us, please hit that like button and subscribe to World Decoded for more journeys into the stories behind the icons. Thanks for watching.